Let's get started. It is 6:02, so I will jump right into this. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. My name is Steve Jagger. I graduated from Vancouver College in 1996, and I am currently the co-president of the Alumni Association, along with Mark Reed. The Alumni Association is a member-driven organization aimed at bringing all alumni together. We run annual events, including the golf tournament, the Irish Christmas lunch, there's a fishing derby, a hockey game, a basketball game, and so much more. But with the current COVID-19 situation, most, if not all of our events this year are canceled or postponed, most likely canceled. And we decided to try something a little bit different. So we thought we'd set up a webinar series and see if we can bring alumni from around the world together to listen and engage with interesting alumni from a whole bunch of different topics. Before I introduce our guests, I wanted to let you know a couple things. You can ask questions through the Zoom chat. The questions will go directly to me. They're going to be typed in. You can't unmute yourselves, like I said at the beginning, kind of a strategic decision so we can kind of keep control of this. So pump your questions whenever you want. The last little bit, I'll take your questions and ask them. But with that said, let me introduce our guests. So I'll start with the smartest man in Canada. So Peter Dyakowski graduated from Vancouver College in 2002 and attended LSU on a football scholarship.
Go Tigers!
He was a four-time member of the SEC Academic Honor Roll, and later in 2012 was named Canada's smartest person by the CBC. Peter was drafted by the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the second round of the 2006 CFL Draft and played with them until 2016 before being traded to the Roughriders. Peter is now the CEO of the Scholars Education Center in Hamilton and the treasurer for the CFL Players Association. So thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Christian Covington graduated from VC in 2011, attended Rice University. After his time at Rice, he was drafted by the Houston Texans in the 6th round, 216th overall in the 2015 NFL Draft. After the Texans, he was signed by the Dallas Cowboys and was just recently picked up by the Denver Broncos in April of 2020. So with that said, thank you guys both for doing this, and I'll pass it over to Peter to sort of take us away.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Our host does himself no credit. He's also an auspicious record holder. He's the heaviest baby in Hong Kong history, weighing in at 10 pounds, 11 ounces. And our special guest of honor tonight tipped the scales just a little bit heavier at 11 pounds even, and is heavier still. I remember Christian as being, this tubby grade 4 kid. I don't know, offense, of course, but you're thick. You're a well-built child who was out at practice every single day. And now he comes to us as an NFL superstar, and I don't think I'd want to go up against him anymore. But Christian, it's a pleasure to be able to very gently serve you with some questions and maybe entertain our assembled alumni this evening.
Oh, the entertainment's a guarantee. That's big time. But no, Pete, man, it's already know it's so good to see you, man. It's been too long before we even got this whole thing together. So no, it's good to see so many familiar faces already on this thing. So I'm just happy to be here.
Hey, that's the magic of the Vancouver College Alumni Association, bringing everyone back together. But so for everyone who doesn't go back to when you were in elementary school, tell everyone a little bit about yourself. You're a 13-year man, one of the early kindergarten cohorts. But share with you, tell them who is Christian Covington, in your own words.
Christian Covington, first and foremost, God-fearing man. So I got to get that out of the way. After that, there's a lot. I'm kind of trying to still figure myself out every now and then, but I mean, to just go back all the way to 1998, it seems like forever ago that my journey started at Vancouver College. It seems like forever, but it also seems just like yesterday. And as you said, to be a 13-year man, it was quite a feat. I never thought I'd make it all the way through, especially once grade 7 came around. I was like, there's got to be more than this. But No, I was just, me and myself. All I have to say is I'm God-fearing first and foremost. I'm a son. I'm a brother, and you know what? After that, I'm a pretty fun-loving guy who just so happens to be good at football. So that's Christian Covington at its finest.
Nice, and I'll try to probe a little bit and help everyone get a little bit more. In getting ready for this, I reached out to a couple of people, and I said, help me out with some really good Christian stories. And a direct quote, actually, from your old head coach Todd Burnett, who's joining us, is, "He's squeaky clean, a great model, a great role model for my own kids."
Mm.
So, we don't have anything scandalous, people, but looking back at your Vancouver College time, we all share that same common bond. And you've been through for the whole run of it. I'm just there since grade 8. So I'm a five-year man. Who is your favorite teacher from that whole stretch?
That's a trick. Hey, that's a setup question right there.
They're not on here. Do we have any teachers on here?
Oh, that's a setup question, man. Oh no, there's so many. I mean, once you spend literally 13 years at one school, you can't. I'm not.
Okay. Favorite French teacher?
Oh, Madame Vanier. Come on now. I mean, that's easy.
I know we have a few Boudet people on here. So,
oh, Mr. Boudet. See what I mean? It's a setup. Like, there are so many.
That'll sting. This will get back.
Look, there's Madame Vanier. There's Mr. Boudet. There's there's Brother Conti. There's Mr. G. There's Miss Marcotte. There's Mr. Pelt. Like, I'm going old school right now. There are just then you get to you got Coach Kaz. Like, I had him for social studies. Coach Tagalau. Come on, like there's just too many right now. So it's
favorite math teacher.
Next question. I'm playing.
Yeah, I'm a Frere guy.
No,
I know Kevin's a Frere guy.
No, Mr. Frere, he pushed me to my limits with regards to my capabilities in the classroom with regards to math. So no, that's a good brother right there.
Nice. Okay, favorite vice principal.
Oh man.
I look back very fondly now on all of my run-ins with Roger.
Yeah, the DeLoreans did their thing, man. I mean, yeah, there was that STM blood that we kind of like, a little every now and then it'd be a little something with it, but no, it was. I honestly, man, I loved everybody over there at VC. I loved everybody.
I think everyone on this call misses it, and we've all got those fond memories, and it's all made us who we are. I wouldn't be where I am today at all, though, without VC fighting Irish football. Mm-hmm. And there's a few of us on the call who've gone on very interesting journeys because of VC football, but you've probably gone on one of the most interesting ones. But talk me through your football journey at VC. I'm sure you knew early on that you might have some football in your blood.
Yes, very early on. Really, it started off, I want to say, grade 1. Obviously, who my father was, being invited to be able to, join that coaching staff at the time. I basically started off at Vancouver College just on the sideline, doing whatever I could. Really started, whether it was me being a water boy, me being a ball boy. I was, as people said, I was a little bigger kid back then, so I was able to, get my exercise going back and forth, running on the field. But I just I fell in love with the game real young, and obviously that's a testament to who my father was, obviously. Which is it comes to a surprise when I always bring it up. My dad never pushed me in football. He never wanted to be that typical football dad that was gonna just he's like, I mean, it's like, if you're gonna play football, you're doing it because of who I am and something. No, he was never like that. If anything, that was my mom. She got down. Good and bad memories right there. But I'm going
now for the one person on this call who doesn't know, Christian's father is CFL legend, CFL Hall of Famer Grover Covington, former Tiger Cat great, one of the all-time best. Now, here's a trivia break for you. How many career sacks does your dad have in the CFL?
157.
There we go. All right. I've got a few trivia questions for you, so I'm expecting perfect.
Oh yeah.
How many career sacks do you have in pro football?
8.5. I'm a way
Does
off.
your dad give you a hard time about that?
You know what? He does every now and then. He would give me a harder time during my younger years, obviously my rookie year, my second year in the league. But after he was truly able to, once him and my mom moved down to Houston, once they were truly able to watch me play from that first person, perspective, and actually see me on my, with regards to film studies, seeing me what I was actually able to do, and who I was going against, and what matter I was having to play the game. My dad kind of took me aside, was just like, you know what? I took it for granted. I took my defensive tackles for granted because, as him being a defensive end, he just, he got all the love getting easy, in his words, easy sacks. So, he's, yeah, he gave me a hard time. He's still my coach to this day. But he understands the struggle of being an interior defensive lineman.
What's that like, having your dad as a coach, like especially in your high school years when football is getting really competitive?
It's huge. He's, as I said, he's been my defensive line coach, since the beginning. That's what I took pride in knowing like who my father was, and knowing that I was able to get that little extra edge, come whenever the case may have been for me to start playing football. For me, obviously it was grade 8. I know I truly didn't really start to come into my own really until my senior year, until grade 12. But just knowing who my dad was and having him by my side, being able to do the extra work with me, either on the field or when we got back at home, being able to watch film and break down film with him at home, being able, obviously, my biggest takeaway was just me watching his games. It wouldn't half the time, it wouldn't even really be me scouting, our opponents. It wouldn't be me watching what STM was doing or New West. It was really me breaking down what his defensive line in Hamilton used to do. So that was I give a lot of credit to him because, he gave me the tools necessary to be able to, be in my position today.
That's amazing. I did not know that he had you watching the old Hamilton game tape.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I have never had a calmer, more patient coach than Grover. He was a fantastic presence. And I think having D linemen coached by him to go up against in practice made me a lot better. But everything that I've heard about him from people, here in Hamilton, because I do a lot of Ticats Alumni Association events, the guys who played with him, they say he's really mellowed out over the years.
From what I've heard, he is, he instilled it in me, that switch. Once you're off the field, you have to be, you have to be who you are. Be the genuine person you are. Be the gentle. In our case, be the gentle giant that we just are. We're big guys. It is who we are. But come game time, come practice, we're still Christian men. but at the same, but
flip the switch.
But flip the switch.
Well, he was pretty good at flipping the switch from what I've heard.
Absolutely.
Now, when you were coming out of high school, grade 12, big year, you had some good lifting numbers going into it too. Todd Burnett, he said, I don't have any dirt on him, but what I do have, Coach Burnett gave me your summer, the summer going into grade 12, your summer lifting numbers. So we've got, so you're hitting 290 on the bench. So that would be 16, 17 years old. Lightweight, come on.
Light, my goodness.
Yeah. 435 squat max. It's just not bad. That's pretty good for high school, but it's still pretty light. Okay. So all-time maxes now. What are your personal bests?
All right. All-time
Everyone likes to share his bench.
All right. First and foremost, I have to just give this out there right now. The strength and conditioning program at Vancouver College set me up because the moment I stepped on Rice University's campus, the moment I stepped in that weight room over there, they were kind of shocked and blown away by my technique because let's just keep it real. Just like when it comes to the sport itself, but really when it comes to the strength and conditioning aspect, if you have the technique, your weights, the numbers are going to be there. Everything else will fall into place. But once your technique is there, everything will just fall like that. So with that being said, I was a little mad at myself, obviously, with those numbers in high school. But let's see, college, my all-time max squat was 695 in college. My all-time bench was 470, and my all-time power clean was 425.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, were you good with the front squat, or is that basically like a straight pull?
No, I was good with the front squat. That flexibility.
Ah, nice.
You have to have it.
Now, these are respectable numbers, people.
Thank
For
you.
anyone who's coming to us from like a rowing background, those are legitimate figures there. Now, we just had a member of the Vancouver College extended Fighting Irish football family take a step down into your world with Rice and John,
Yes.
grad of 16, SFU Klansman, and now a New York Giant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big step, but the young man has got a really big wingspan.
Yes. He's 6'7". I love it. I love it.
There. What's your advice for him?
Yeah, no. First and foremost, man, just congrats to him for making that step, because that is huge. Not a lot of
Make
people.
sure this clip gets to him.
Yes, no, 100%. No, a lot of people don't really know how hard it is to truly get to this step, no matter how and by what means you made it, whether you were drafted or undrafted, it doesn't matter. To be able to be invited, to be able to sign with the NFL team is huge. So I wish him nothing but the best. I actually congratulated him. I was able to actually send him a message to let him know, but he has his work cut out for him. I know, especially with a lot of guys that I've been able to grow up with in this situation at this level, by going a late round path, the late round path of the undrafted path, you have nothing but work in front of you, and that's really a good thing, because
they say sometimes the best players go undrafted.
100%, because at the end of the day, nothing is given to you. You have to at that point you've had to earn everything that's come your way, and you have to be able to continue that moving forward in order to prove yourself in this league. So with the best advice I can give to him is to get in his playbook right now, get it day in and day out, night in, night out, and work harder than the man in front of you on that depth chart, because eventually hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Very true, very true. And for you, your journey between VC, the NFL, you had a very successful stint at Rice in between. So tell us a little bit why Rice, and first the recruiting process. This is another in a string of many big successes for Coach Burnett, having athletes go to top U.S. colleges. Talk about that recruiting process, going from Vancouver down to Houston.
Yeah, it was a little odd to start off with, just because, as I said earlier, I didn't really blossom and truly, become the player I was until grade 12. So I was a little late to the recruiting game, just a little bit. I went to a couple of football camps this summer before my senior year. Went to Oregon State, went to California, Berkeley. Obviously there was the Eastern Washington camp that we attended as a team. But other than that, it was, it was started to come into play more so once we hit the middle of the season, once I was actually truly able to get some more film out there. Obviously there was a connection that we had with Rice University, with Darryl Patterson, who was our linebacker coach, assistant head coach, who actually played football. He played with the Hamilton Tiger Cats with my father. And so he played up in the CFL. So that was the connection right there. We were able to send the tape down to him. And, once I was able to get down on a visit there that following spring, it was a done deal. A lot of people don't know this, but Arizona State kind of came late into the game. And once I got the offer from Rice, Arizona State kind of came into the play, and they wanted to send me on a visit. They offered a scholarship. The D-line coach offered, but at that point, I knew going into a situation like Rice, I was Rice's. After they saw my tape, I was Rice's number one guy, and to Arizona State, I was kind of a backup choice to them because they lost a couple of recruits. So I would rather be a number one guy to this team rather than I guess we can go with this. I guess we can go with this guy since we lost X, Y, and Z. But really, I chose Rice just because I knew I had something to prove as far as football was concerned, and the fact of the matter is you can't really beat that Rice education. They're top in the United States for a reason.
And good lesson for everyone here: go where they want you.
Absolutely.
And of course the owl itself is an inspiration for many people, and I'm sure that's driven you in your football journey.
Mm-hmm.
Now now your time there, you had kind of an interesting college career. You had an injury partway through. Talk about that. Because it may not have been the typical road that some guys have.
Yeah, no, it's I was blessed with my time down there. I was able to accomplish a lot. I was able to really, everything that the coaches during the recruiting process, everything that they promised would happen, it did happen. We won a conference championship. I won bowl games. I always promised myself, that ring that I won my senior year at Vancouver College, that's not gonna be the only ring I get. And I was able to continue on. Ever since you get one ring, you want more. So, I was able to, I was blessed to be a part of, great teams, blessed to be a part of, great, bowl runs with some great teams. But obviously with that injury come my last year there, it was a little, it was a trying time for myself and for my family, because we knew how significant that last year was. I was getting a little bit more attention, especially after my redshirt sophomore year. I got a lot of attention going into that next season. And for it wasn't that bad of an injury, but it was still an injury that required surgery on my knee. Nothing too serious, but a dislocated kneecap with some muscle tear. I took it. It was one of those times in my life that I really had to just lean on family, lean on those around me, and make the decision really whether or not I was going to come back, for my senior year at Rice. And I just kind of just had to end up taking it to prayer. We ended up deciding, what, I've done everything I could really at this time. For university, I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish, to a certain extent. And I knew in order to better myself, in order to get to maximize myself and my talents, I wanted to be able to take that next step at the next level.
Well, that was really my next question. You elected to declare eligibility early for the NFL draft before playing out your senior year.
Yes.
That's a big gamble. What role did your family have? What role did your father have in helping you make that decision? Because obviously it's paid off. Mm-hmm. But that is the $1 million question for so many young athletes coming out of university. For anyone here who's not a football guy, you can declare, in some cases, a year early for the NFL draft if you've redshirted an initial season before your senior year, or even before your redshirt junior year. Mm-hmm. You just have to have played 3 years.
Yes.
Or 4 years, sorry.
Yeah, my dad knew I was ready, and that was really the deciding factor, because again, I'm going to say I'm blessed to have the parents I do, and I'm blessed to have the father I have, just because I respect him, I respect his game. Obviously, I respect him tremendously with what he did and what he accomplished in his career. But he sat me down really when I was kind of just going through everything in my head, and he basically just told me, Christian, you're ready. Like, it's going to be a journey ahead with regards to rehab, but the doctors told me my rehab process was probably going to be about 6-7 months. I was running after 2. I was doing drills, cutting after 2.5 months. So I knew I was ready once I did make the decision. But that was a key right there. My father, he looked at me and said, "No, you're ready for this," and I believe him.
See, that's remarkable. You're such a level-headed guy, and that's such a big gamble. A lot of people with the same temperament as you might opt for the conservative choice, but to me, it speaks to the level of trust that you've got with your father.
Absolutely.
To go with that.
Absolutely.
To me, that's amazing, because I've seen a lot of guys in the exact same decision point, either be too conservative or if their temperament's such, too aggressive. But that's quite remarkable.
It is. No, it was a blessing, because I can listen to him because he's lived it. He's been a pro for he's been a pro for 11 plus years. So he knew at that moment exactly what I was getting myself ready for, and he knew I had what it takes. So I trusted him.
And then the Houston Texans trusted him too.
Yes.
So they ended up picking you in the draft. Trivia question: what pick were you?
216. You never forget your number.
Yeah.
You never forget your number. That's a number I will wear for the rest of my life, and wear it proudly.
Now, you were actually drafted twice.
Yes.
Not a lot of people get drafted twice. You were drafted twice.
Yes, I was.
So here's part 2 of your trivia
question.
Lord. What pick were you in the 2015 CFL Draft?
5th round by BC, and I was picked 6th of the 5th round.
We're gonna have to do some math. That was 2015. That was after Ottawa was back.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd also have to see if there are any supplemental picks. You're 43rd.
Okay. Oh, you just knew over. Okay.
Yeah, 43rd overall. And for everyone watching, it's not because he was the 43rd best guy in the draft. It's because every other team with a pick before figured we're not going to get to see him because he's going to stay put down in the NFL. And
no, but honestly, that was a blessing in itself to be drafted by your college hometown team, because I literally moved down Main Street in Houston, and then to be drafted by the BC Lions. Come on, I've been to BC Place. I love BC Place. Like that was honestly a blessing. So you never know. You honestly never know where this football journey takes you. I pray to be able to play as long as I can in the NFL. But hey, CFL comes knocking, at least I know where I'm going.
Well, speaking of that, you moved to Texas full time back in 2011.
Yes.
And it's so that's a big shift. So you left Vancouver, chose to live full time in Houston, just really focus on school and football down there rather than trying to live in two places.
Yes.
And then recently you had the opportunity to take your family anywhere in the world, maybe a trip back to Vancouver, but instead you chose to take them to France. Is that true?
I did, yeah. Oh, you're doing your research. Okay.
This is the extent of the dirt that I have on Christian, by the way. That's as salacious as it gets with this guy. Now talk about your introduction to the NFL. And that's a big step. College, you're playing against everyone was the best guy at his high school. But now in the pros, you're up against every guy who is the best guy on his college team.
Yes.
And now instead of just, in college, the odd guy, oh, that guy's a real freak. Every single guy on the field is a genetic freak.
Absolutely.
Was that a shift to going from Rice to going to the Houston Texans?
It was, but it wasn't at the same time, just because of the coaches that we had in Houston. One of the biggest pieces of advice I ever got, honestly, was my rookie year from Coach Mike Vrabel. He was our linebackers coach at the time, and he eventually became our defensive coordinator. But I will never forget, one of the first rookie meetings that we ever had, he said, gentlemen, you're pros too. It doesn't matter what year this guy's in. It doesn't matter if this guy's an all-star. It doesn't matter if this guy's been to how many Pro Bowls. He's a pro, and now you're a pro, so act like it. And so after I remember that vividly, because he said the next thing he said is, you're a pro, act like it, so don't get starstruck. You're here now. You've made it to the NFL. Act like you belong in the NFL. So there's always going to be an adjustment period, getting used to the speed of the game, getting used to the strength of the guys you're going against, because it just increases exponentially at every single level.
As a rookie, did you have to do anything? Any sort of rookie initiation rites when you joined the Texans?
So check this out. So because of who I was, and because of how much they respected how much of a good rookie I was, I never had to do anything. I don't have a rookie story. I have two things. All right. So obviously I went through the rookie haircut. So I'm mad, and it was fine. That was expected, but I was mad.
Yeah, at least they're doing that.
Yeah, at least they're doing that. But I got mad at Ryan Mallett because he came up to me while I was in the barber chair and he shaved my eyebrow off out of the blue. He came out of nowhere, because everybody's piled around, and he just came out of nowhere and shaved and I'm like, bro, you did not just do that. And I had to basically, I was waiting a couple weeks until my eyebrow grew back. But other than that, I knew my place as a rookie. I knew I was basically there to be seen and not heard. I knew I was going to be humble. I wasn't going to step on anybody's toes, because really I knew my job was to be able to be a sponge, soak it up, and basically when I'm on that field, do what I have to do and basically play to the best of my ability. There's a reason why, I was brought to this team. So it was a big step. I would say that your first preseason is truly a test, and you get to see where you're at and how you compare to these guys around you. And I was blessed to have a good good first camp, and I was able to just continue on from there.
And what's the feeling, your first NFL start? Any butterflies?
Oh yes, it's yeah, you never forget it. You butterfly it's always that good, it's that good anxious feeling, because you're not nervous to the point where you're scared. You're like, there's no fear. There's no time for fear. There's no point in having fear, because at the end of the day, the man in front of you is just a man. That's all he is. He puts on his cleats just like you. He sweats and bleeds just like you. But that the moment that you're in the tunnel and you just hear the noise, you hear the crowd, and for me this is new, because obviously we went to Vancouver College and we're blessed. We averaged out roughly having 1,000 people at our games at O'Hagan Field. It was amazing to be able to have that that type of that crowd noise, that love, and then obviously we get to the playoffs. Whether you played at whether we were playing at Burnaby Lakes, or whether we were playing at BC Place, you felt the crowd was electric. But down here it's a little bigger. In the U.S., like that's a shock. It's a culture change that's unlike anything that you can experience. So to be able to, and then especially when I go to a school like Rice, we're a very small school. We only have, I want to say roughly, including our graduate program, we only have 5,000 students total. We're the second smallest Division I school in the United States.
It's a very small school.
Very small school. So it took it to another level for me to be able to walk through the tunnel and then just see nothing but people in a crowd. It's unlike anything.
That feeling at the start of the game is what I think a lot of the guys who played miss a lot. I miss that.
Yes.
Now you actually touched on something though. Let's jump back to high school. We're getting down to the last couple of minutes. Let's do some quick hit questions. Worst field you played on in high school?
The West Van.
West Van. That was ours too. It was like a sand pit.
Oh, it was terrible, man. I almost drowned out there.
It's inexcusable. That's like the richest public school.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, how are you in West Vancouver and you can't really, I mean, you can't even.
The weather's gorgeous.
You can't
it's
even
all
buy a good
exposure.
team. Come on now.
They get more hours of sunlight than any other field in the Lower Mainland.
It was ridiculous. It made no sense.
No. I still remember it. It's terrible. And I see a lot of people agree. Okay, back to the NFL. My Wi-Fi just contact. Can you see me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, back to the NFL. Biggest O lineman you've got up against?
Interior-wise, I would say Richie Incognito.
Richie, how big?
That boy's massive. He's about 6'4", but he's just like 320, but he's solid 325. Like for a guard, and he wears big pads and the neck roll too. It's just like
he was really good at hazing. It's a good thing you want a rookie in his locker room.
Oh man, yeah, we ain't gonna touch that subject.
No, okay. Strongest O lineman you've ever played against?
Strongest O lineman, Tyron Smith, my teammate last year with the Dallas Cowboys.
How strong was he?
During the middle of the season, during our workouts, he'd be repping out 465 10 times. Yeah, no, it's he.
Once again, for our rowers watching, that's just silly.
He's a freak. I've genuinely never seen a freak of nature like him before. And I think he's Pro Bowl offensive blindside tackle, 9% body fat. Yeah, it makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Now, another genetic freak, one of the great active players in the game. Tell everyone about your first sack and who it was on.
Ooh, yeah. First sack.
As a pro.
Oh, yeah. First sack against Andrew Whitworth, Monday Night Football, Cincinnati Bengals on Andy Dalton. Kind of nice. You never forget your first one.
And that was an old college teammate of mine. So that's a pretty good one to notch. And I should say you're coming from an athletic family, and obviously you've got the heritage, the pedigree. You've got a couple of sisters who are good athletes as well. Both went to Div 1 alongside you, correct?
Yes. No, my parents were blessed that they never had to pay for tuition. They're thankful. Oh, They had
Nice.
to get, my sisters had my sisters had to, we all had to get scholarships one way or another. There was no option B.
Now, are they still competing?
No. So Asiana, my middle sister Asiana, she went full ride to University of Georgia for track and field. She was, obviously hoping, she was the most athletically gifted in our family, honestly. I remember when she graduated from Little Flower Academy, and I think she had about roughly 40 scholarship offers. She could have went anywhere in the United States. And she had dreams, obviously, of going to Tokyo 2020. And sadly, her last year in Georgia, she dislocated her shoulder twice. And, rehab it was an injury that required surgery, but she actually just pulled through and just kept competing. And by the time that she was done, she actually did pretty well. She missed out on going to nationals by a couple centimeters, which was kind of devastating for her. But she did so well in her career over there. But she's finally, and once she hung up the hammer, she ended up having to get the surgery, obviously, and she just recovered from that now because she did extensive damage. So she's good. She's here in Houston with me, and my baby sister Autumn, she went to Cornell, and she was track and field as well. And so she just graduated last year, and I have the whole Covington family down here in Houston. So it's kind of nice being around. It's nice having this family here.
Nice. And one last question before we get to everyone else's questions. What's your best 40 time?
Oh man, 4.83.
4.83. Is that hand timed or laser?
Maybe. No laser. Hand. What's the difference?
Oh.
No. All right. So my pro day, I was clocked in at 4.83. Somebody clocked me at someone clocked me at 4.75, but I mean, who's counting numbers? You know what I mean?
All right, 10-yard time.
10-yard time. Ooh, what was my 10-yard split? I forget. But I got a number for you. I got my shuttle. My short shuttle was 4.3. But yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to even half the football guys on here. But that's fast. That's fast for a D lineman.
Okay.
Yeah. And on that note, let's check back in with our gracious host, Steve. I know you've also got some more questions for us.
I do. Thanks for doing this, Pete. You haven't disappointed. Lots of the questions are coming in, commenting on your questions, which is great. So I've got a whole bunch here, Christian. Some I tried to group them while you guys have been chatting. So maybe we can do a bit of a.
I'll answer as many as possible. It's all good.
We can do a rapid fire.
Yeah.
Favorite, most memorable non-football sporting event at Vancouver College? That's from Sean Mazies.
Basketball was always fun. First of all, what's up, Sean? My man Mazies. Oh man. I'd have to give it to basketball and track and field were ties for me because I enjoyed my time playing basketball there. Obviously you getting to play for Coach Scrub. That was awesome. The track and field was track and field was awesome for me because that allowed me to bond with my sisters just because that was really their sport and what they dominated at. So that was just nice for me to be able to do it, go and be coached with them as well.
And if I may, as a spectator, the ruckus at the basketball games and also running the score clock as I volunteered to until I was stopped.
Oh man, Eddie, them VC St. George's games are some of the most hype basketball games of my life. Oh my goodness.
They still are. They're still it's still quite a scene. Very hard to get tickets to the Vancouver College Saints basketball game. It's funny. They have to have wristbands and they're all handed out days in advance. It's quite a thing.
I will say it's kind of sad. One of my friends is actually Emerson Murray, so I feel like I might be disappointing a lot of people right now. But yeah, it's like that there's a special place in my heart for disliking St. George's, but that's about it.
Got it. So I've got some potentially offside questions, and then I've grouped some together. So let's move with an offside question.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. You can decide if it's offside or not, but is Jerry Jones as crazy as he seems?
Jerry Jones is an awesome owner, honestly. He's what he does and how he loves his team, how he loves that city. It's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. Like he will do whatever it takes. Can it possibly, can it be seen as, somewhat, crazy? I mean, to some maybe, but like with how long and little as I've known him, amazing man, love football, love the Cowboys, and he put his heart and soul into that team. And, just to, for him to bring me along, I can say, I can tell my grandkids one day, yeah, old Pappy was a Dallas Cowboy now. Come on now.
Nice. So if that wasn't offside, how about this one? Trump or Biden?
Next question.
I figured that.
Man, at the end of the day, look, how about this? I got Jesus. That's all I need. All I need is Jesus.
Okay, back to some I don't know, more normal questions. I don't know. I knew the Trump Biden one wasn't going to go very far.
Oh, that caught me on guard. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
A few guys asked the same question. What's it like to play alongside JJ Watt? What's it like playing with JJ Watt? But that's, there are a few of those, 3 or 4 of those.
JJ's my brother. JJ's my brother. He took me under his wing when I got there. Genuine guy. He gets a lot of slack from outside people that don't really know everybody on the outside looking in. What you see is what you get from that brother. He's genuine. He truly means everything that he says. He goes above and beyond what is required of him as a teammate to get things done. Good. That's a good man right there. Really good man. I'm mad too because that trip I took with my family. That was a much needed vacation I took, and I met up with him for lunch literally before the trip, and he was so mad at himself because he misplaced his wedding invitation in the mail, and I'm just like, he was apparently shooting himself for misplacing that thing. I'm just mad, like I could have went to his wedding, so that's the only regret I got. Like, yeah, but like that's the kind of guy he is, man. He's genuine, real good, and you know what? The boy can ball.
Couple of questions around sort of the COVID-19 world. What's the past 8 weeks been like working out with the team remotely, and how does the NFL team get everyone coordinated across the country? So
first and foremost, I hope everybody is staying safe. I hope everybody's doing their due diligence with regards to social distancing. I hope you guys and your family, everybody who's on this, who's taking part in this event right now, I pray that everybody's families are safe. I pray that you guys are healthy. I pray that you stay healthy, in Jesus' name. But other than that, I will say it's been a little difficult just because we're dealing with something that's truly never really occurred in any of our lifetimes before. Not in our lifetimes, not in our parents' lifetimes, maybe not even our grandparents' lifetimes. So we're really in uncharted territory right now. And it's been, it doesn't matter your job description. It doesn't matter your job title. It doesn't matter what your salary is. It doesn't matter what part of the world you live in. The globe is kind of, the world is on pause right now. And, for an unknown amount of time. And so the first thing I have to say is, we're on this together. And that's my main takeaway from this whole experience. But it's been a little different having, because this is literally what I do. I'm literally every day at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Zoom meeting with my position coach and with my teammates. Little different. I'm thankful that my trainer's been able to, me and myself and my trainer have been able to have one-on-one sessions to be able to, continue on with my off-season training. I've been going nonstop since February. And that's going to continue on until really we get some news. But for the time being, really, this is just going to be the new normal. And, we hope for the best, honestly.
That's good. A follow-up to that is, do you have a special quarantine workout, or is it generally the same?
Yeah, my quarantine workouts is just anytime I can just do abs, man. So that's.
Do you have a full home gym?
I do not, but I did just buy some dumbbells. So. No, I have a pool. I got a pool, so I'm able to just get my cardio in like that. But other than that, I just ordered a set of dumbbells because obviously this quarantine is killing my dad right now, just because he wants to go to a gym so badly. Like, he's still working out. Grover will not stop working out. It's insane. And
you're gonna see the biceps in the team photos. from that Ticats
Oh man,
era.
he puts me to shame. It's crazy. I don't know. He had 23-inch arms. I'm like, how? Oh my goodness. But no, I was able to order a set of power block dumbbells. So we finally have some good equipment here, just in case, whatever the case may be, just in case if these regulations go into further lockdown. So we'll see what happens. But no, we got a little setup that's coming along.
Cool. Keon just asked a question right now. Keon Burnett.
What's up, Keon?
We got lots of Burnett's on here. Keon's question is, what advice would you give to a young football player? I don't know who he's referring to.
Okay. Sacrifice now, reap the rewards later. No, my mother instilled that in me at a very young age. A lot of people don't know this, but basically her and I had not a side bet, but basically we had an agreement that I wasn't allowed to go to my first ever high school party unless I won a high school championship.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. And so, so it's the little things like that. It's so an example like that is something that my mother understood and my father clearly understood. And, maybe a kid like me who's, not really, a grown adult, hasn't lived in the world, doesn't really know just yet. But, that's why I'm thankful for, who I had to raise me, just because they knew, look, time will be there to have fun. Time will be there to be able to hang out with friends. Time will be there to be able to take, part in, this thing called life. Yeah, we want to live a fun. We want to have fun. We all want to have a good time. But if you have an opportunity in front of you, why not do everything in your power to be able to maximize everything around you, whether it's your work ethic, whether it's your weight training, whether it's your study habits, whether it's your test taking, whatever the case may be. Why not max out and sacrifice 30 minutes of video game time, or a Saturday hanging out with your friends where you can do something else to benefit you. Why not, if it can lead you to something even better in the future, to allow yourself to look back on it years from now and be like, it was worth it.
That's good. Sean Mazy's, as you're answering the question about that, he says that you've never come to a high school party.
Went to one, Sean. I went to one. You saw me there. I'm not lying.
Here's one from Rob Zadra. Are there disadvantages to being Canadian in the American League?
It depends on who you're asking. I feel like
I'm asking you.
The NFL, good one. The NFL, they search the world for talent. So if you have talent, they will find you. It doesn't matter if you're, some kid in Vancouver. It doesn't matter if you're a kid growing up in Toronto. It doesn't matter if you're growing up in Zimbabwe, London, in Tokyo. They will find you if you have the means to be able to showcase yourself. And there's really no excuse now with regards to YouTube and the social media presence that we have in today's world. If you have the talent, they will find you. With that being said, being a Canadian, obviously, the stereotypes of, oh, you're all too nice, and that has happened, and I've been confronted with that by teammates until I put the pads on and until I hit them in practice to set the record straight. So other than that, I take it as a blessing, honestly, because that's just an extra chip on my shoulder. I've seen myself honestly as an underdog. I went to Rice, underdog school. Come on now, Rice. I've never won a national championship. Someone here has though. I'm just saying, it is what it is. And so I was an underdog at Rice. I accepted that role. I was a late round draft pick because of an injury. I accept that role. I'm Canadian. I accept my role. It's all good because I'm gonna work harder than you.
So, how important was your high school football foundation to where you are now? Kind of a leading question, I would say.
Yeah, no, it was everything. No, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that structure that was set up, at VC. Honestly, it taught me how to lead. It taught me how to be a captain. It taught me how to, lead by example. That was really my biggest thing. I've never been a raw. I was never a raw guy. I never really liked to talk trash. I never really liked to talk smack to opponents. That just wasn't me. I wasn't really a motivator with my voice. I didn't have the epic speeches pregame and stuff like that. Obviously, I love doing the Irish on the Warpath part with Adam Konar. Shout out to him. But other than that, really, I just decided I wanted to take it upon myself to look. If you follow me by what I'm doing, we're gonna go into any opponent's house and we're gonna come out with a W. So it doesn't really matter.
Nice. We've got Rob Mulrooney on the line here. His son Dexter Mulrooney wants to know how many push-ups you can do in a minute.
In a minute, I'd say 75 to 100.
There's only one way to find out.
Hey, you caught me off guard. Maybe, I think about it. Solid minute. Yeah. I'd say about, 60 plus. I mean,
it's going down.
All depends. I mean, I'm just being realistic. We're living in quarantine, sir. Like these are crazy times.
Another one, Colin just asked, current Vancouver College student, says, what's your favorite Rick story?
Oh man. Where do I begin? Do I have to count out all the times I got yelled at, cussed out at? Where do I start? Anyways, but all I know is, all right, my favorite Rick moment, let's just say this. My favorite Rick moment of all time was me as a snotty-nosed little kid coming up to him, because everybody knows the story. Rick would never go to a banquet. He'd never come to a banquet. And me, I forget what grade I was in. I think I was I must have been grade 6 or grade 5 or 6 at the time. And I'm just like, hey, Rick, you coming to a banquet when I'm a senior? I'm going to get you to a banquet. And he's just like, okay, whatever, Christian. I'm not coming. Whatever you say. I'm just like, hey, that's Rick. That's just who the brother is. We all love and adore. And, for me to finally, come grade 12, to finally look him in the eye at the banquet and be like, and just to shake his hand and just give him that eye contact, that's just that's my Rick story. That's the greatest thing that's ever happened between us two.
Nice. Peter, what about you, buddy?
I too many to list, but one that I think generally we've all seen and can relate to is his intense defense of the old O'Hagan Field grass, which was constantly in rehabilitation, but was remarkable. Once we replaced the O'Hagan grass with the permanent undamageable field turf, he somehow got even more possessive and protective of it.
No spitting, no water. Like, how are we supposed to drink, sir? How are we supposed to hydrate? This is football.
Nice. Christian, do the BC Lions still have your CFL rights? And if so, how does that work and how long do they have them? That's my brother Kevin asking that one.
I have not been in the last time I was in contact with BC, I want to say was roughly 3 years ago. We keep tabs on each other, but I officially hearing from them, Kevin, I haven't heard from them in about, I want to say 3 years officially. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they own my rights until I retire from the game. I think that's how it works.
Cool. What's the free agent process like from Thomas Miller?
A lot of waiting and a lot of patience. It all depends. For me, it was a matter of just trying to find myself with the right fit. And we got to a point last offseason was obviously my first time testing free agency. And my family, my agents, we all had a discussion. We decided, I wanted to kind of get myself out there with a team that was kind of like, how I played in high school, how I played in college, more so a 4-man front team that just allows us to get off the ball and wreak havoc. Obviously, we were a 3-4 system in Houston. A lot of reading, a lot of just like kind of patiently waiting, read the run, then react to the pass, unless your name obviously is J.J. Watt. for me, I was able to that was a decision I made last year to be able to, sign right away, sign with Dallas, to be able to get some film on for the future, obviously, to allow myself to show up and showcase myself to teams that I can play. It doesn't matter what system I'm in. I can play whatever position you want me to play in. So for me to be able to, we decided to wait a little bit this season, just until after the draft, to find a team that best suited, my needs. And eventually, as we mentioned beforehand, with this event, it's kind of nice to go where you're wanted. And so I got a phone call a couple of days after the draft, Sunday. Yeah, the next week following the draft, I got a call from our head coach, Fangio, and he basically sold me on the team. He personally wanted me there. He wanted me to sign. So it's kind of nice to go with a team that really wants you and has a plan for you, and actually somewhat knows how to balance the business side with the personal side of things.
Nice. So we've got just a couple minutes left here. I've got a handful of questions left. Maybe we can go.
I can go rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
I like to go into detail. My bad.
No, it's good. It's good. This has been great. Some of the guys are sending in messages that are not questions, just saying that this is awesome. So the first question goes to Peter. Are you going to run for Prime Minister from Rob Mulrooney?
I got to win as an MP first. That's tricky. They say it usually takes a couple of tries.
All right.
I'm working on my wife to let me try again. So we'll see. We're hearing things about 2021.
Sounds good. Sounds like there's still a chance. Keon Burnett's asking who would win 2001 Vancouver College versus 2010 Vancouver College.
01. And that team, our quarterback especially.
01.
Y'all had a good quarterback. I'll give you that. Y'all had a decent quarterback. But at the same time, did y'all have our defense though? Did y'all have our defense? Because that's what defense. Offense, QB will sell the tickets, but a defense wins championships, baby.
All right, for both of you, best stadium to play in.
That's a two-parter. I got that. Pete, you want to start?
I still have fond memories. High school playoffs in BC Place and O'Hagan Field, old Ivor Wynn Stadium, old Ivor Wynn, and it doesn't exist anymore, so you can't play there anymore. Tiger Stadium, obviously, and that's the best stadium in college football.
Well, best usually means one.
Yeah. I got to pick one. I got to go with Old Ivor Wynn.
I don't like to just list everything.
I got to go with Old Ivor Wynn. Old Ivor Wynn.
Where is that for someone who like me who has no idea what you're talking about?
In Hamilton.
Okay.
It's the one in that picture over my shoulder here.
Come on, Steve.
This is why I had to get Dyakowski to help with this, because if we're going to talk football, I'm pretty useless.
It's rubble now, but the hot tub is in my backyard.
My brother he's asking, where's Hamilton? All right, Covington, what's your best stadium?
Okay, it's going to be a three. I just realized three-parter. Okay, high school, obviously, O'Hagan. All right, college, I'm going to give it to Kyle Field, Texas A&M. They know how to sell out a crowd. Especially when we play Johnny Manziel. Oh my gosh! Like literally, you can't look into the crowd because you start getting seasick when they start doing the 12-man wave. Don't look. Just whatever you do, don't look in the stands. NFL, I gotta give it to Jerry Jones, man. That brother, that's $1 billion stadium. Like, I don't know how it gets any better than that. That is like, it's unreal when you step foot in that thing. So those are my three. I'm gonna call it a three-way tie, honestly, because those are equally great and equally great. Nice.
All right. Well, we're at 7:00. I can hear all the banging of the drums and everything going on here. I've got one last question for you, Christian, but I would like to just say one of the things we did for this webinar was we charged a few bucks to support some Vancouver College alumni-owned restaurants as part of this. I believe we broke the $1,000 mark. So there will be, basically what we're doing is we're buying gift cards from 3 Vancouver College owned restaurants. All of them are here in Vancouver: Jaggers, Martini's, and Mahoney. So we'll buy a gift card from them, which gives them cash immediately. And then we'll utilize those next year as a gift or something for the alumni golf tournament or something like that. But I wanted to thank everybody for doing that and participating in this. We are going to have more of these coming up. We're working on a few different topics, from oil and gas and potentially a cannabis one. There's a few different angles we're going with alumni from around the world. But with that said, thank you guys both for doing this, Pete and Christian. And I wanted to ask this one last question, which I think is a good question, because we know Peter wants to run for Prime Minister, or MP, then Prime Minister. But for you, Christian, what does life look like after football?
Oh man,
Are you there? Are you Vancouver? What job? What are you going to do?
It's how location wise, I want to definitely move back to the Northwest. Absolutely. I love Texas. I want to be able to keep my home here in Texas. But I love the aspect of going back to the Pacific Northwest and Texas having, like, the best.
Like Seattle, or actually into Vancouver?
Oh no. Yeah, I love. I mean, because part of my family, before my time at VC, I grew up in Washington. So I want to own I'd love to own a place in Washington and Vancouver, honestly. So it's a guarantee. Like, y'all not getting rid of me that easy. I'm coming home. But as far as post football, a lot of people have been coming up to me with regards to broadcasting. I don't really. We'll see, because that's a challenging career change in itself. But right now, my plan has started to turn into real estate investing. So I think right now, hey, all I gotta say is God's in control. So I got my faith in Him. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna live out this football life and take it from there. But there's a couple of things laid out. But yeah, the Northwest is home, and Texas has become a second home to me. So I'm going back and forth now. Awesome.
Well, with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you both for doing this. Christian, for succumbing to some of Peter's questions, and Peter for doing that and doing all the research.
Hey,
so I
thanks,
appreciate it for both of you for making this happen. Thank you guys very much, and thanks to everybody who attended.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Christian.
Pardon me?
I said thanks.
Oh, no, man. No, the pleasure is mine. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. God bless y'all.
Good night.